dragons and fellow watchers. Welcome to another stream of Dragon Projects. It's been such a while since I last did one of these. And of course, as you can see, I have along the custard filling boy himself.
Hello everyone, Jacob the Dragon here, aka the Dragon Inflator, aka the Blue Dragon Ball.
Yes. Now, reasons why he's pretty much here is because, well, providing commentary, especially inputs for this specific project. Now, basically, before, if you guys basically recall, or if you probably have seen that video, I was going a bit about what to do for our other topics. And, well, the was more of my original idea, and the Dream Realm project. Well, I decided that, you know what? I might as well go with the Dream Realm because I have a lot more input about it. And, well, let's just say the other project is much more longer, you could say, and ideals, and I haven't done this in a while. So, yes, for people who are coming in, welcome. Do grab yourselves a snack and drink, as well as keep a plushie on standby, because we are going to be going over, well, I'm mainly going over this specific project. Now, you're all probably wondering about what exactly is this dream realm you're going on? Well, I'm glad you're probably going to ask or basically question, because, well, this realm here is specifically entitled, and I basically call it myself, the Realm of Wandaria. As in, it's like wondrous and such. Very dreamlike. Different realms within the realm. It's very vast, and many things happen. Changes occur. There will be dangers, yet wonders, all in the same. It's a perfectly balanced realm. It has different themings of different areas, different planes, you name it. And, well, I'm gonna try my best to explain it. And also, Jacob, well, what do you have to say about that a little bit?
Sounds really interesting.
Yes. Well, there are definitely different categories and such. Now, there is basically the ideal. The idea I will basically go over in a bit, but I think I'd be best to give a little history about it, since, well, that'll at least clear things up a bit. Well, I basically inspired off a specific deities based around a specific Yu-Gi-Oh monster, which I told Jacob and the others about. Jacob, care to say which one it is?
Five-headed dragon. The fusion between 5 dragon-type monsters. And it's very powerful too.
Yes, of course, 5,000 attack points and defense. And if people basically recall, it was also in the anime, only a few times, but it is really cool.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know, I can make something out of that. But don't worry, there's some alterations to make it different. So there you go. And FYI, I did actually make certain designs into Yu-Gi-Oh cards first before turning them into actual designs. Hey, Jacob, you want to know what's funny?
Yeah, and also I just thought of something.
Oh, go ahead.
Just since you created characters that are like based off the 5-headed dragon,
Yeah.
now I'm very, very curious.
What? Oh
What
my
if
gosh.
you were to make characters based off of the... Come on, Google. Work with me.
We'll give them a moment, people. Okay.
I'm trying to look for the best image.
While you're looking for that, I guess I could just briefly bring this up. I guess you could say back then, I was basically keen on making Yu-Gi-Oh cards more than Pokemon, but you want to know a little something? The irony is, and rather cringy. Hey, Jacob,
Yeah.
you know that Christian made his own specific Pokemon cards with those specific types of characters and Yu-Gi-Oh cards. And not to mention they are horribly drawn. And honestly, which is ironic, I myself basically actually attempted to draw better. But keep in mind, people, this was back when I didn't really have much of the skills that I do have now.
Screw it. I'll just send you 2 images. Alright, so what if you were to make characters based off of the Signar dragons?
Hang on a moment, people. Let me get the, just a moment, people. We are basically, looks like I'm gonna be showing these. Okay. Oh, I see what you mean.
Yee.
Wow. I mean, it really depends. I mean, Chelsea herself has already made a few deities. I'm not even kidding.
Epic looking
there's your-
deities.
Hello and welcome. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, you are pretty much early. So I hope you find this interesting. Anyways, and also each theming design I basically just went with. I just try to see what would stick. Sure, I kept some of the concepts that would work, and I did alterations a bit, such as changing at least something like the Cyber Dragon, or at least the metal black dragon, I think, into basically an ice dragon. What do you honestly think? And also, one is basically based around nature.
Nice.
Yes. But yeah, there are different types of realms. I could pretty much go over and try my best to at least bring up the names a bit. But I promise you guys, I'm still kind of working on this, and trust me, I worked on this mainly myself, but I also had some help from, well, doing an RP with a friend. That being with Chelsea, who pretty much is getting into this whole exploring a Fwandari approach. Okay. Basically, of the main types of realms. How does one get to there? Well, the thing is, unlike with knights, yeah, this is where the similarities and differences basically come into, is that unlike knights where people have to simply fall asleep into a deep, deep sleep where their subconscious basically travels to that realm. Hello, Koshi! Welcome!
Hi, Koshi.
Your avatar's looking good. The way others would actually get into the realm of Wandaria is by a rift open. Now, what I mean by a rift, as in a rift in the fabric of space and reality itself. And depending on how big the rift is, it will be a minor, which is small, medium, and to pretty much as big as like a truck, to the size of a building. And it acts like a suction. Anyone in the area will get sucked in immediately.
Holy
And
camoli.
the only way the rifts can be closed are by guardians. which have a special technique to actually close it. And if it's basically a minor, they won't really notice until they see it. And the thing is, well, once the visitor is there, well, they're tossed in whichever random location they're sent to. So you don't even know where you would end up in that realm. It could be a good climate, it could be a bad climate, a good situation, a bad situation, you name it. Wandaria is a changing place. It still has its theming, but the area's environments change. And the thing is, the realm itself, time doesn't exist there. Even though things change, there is no time. Hence the reason why there's no flow. It's a little complicated, so I don't want to attempt that. Your thoughts, Jacob?
Sounds like you got some world building going on.
I know, and I'm trying my best to explain it. So, basically, of the main realm, anyone was bound to end up. It's probably within the fields area. Pretty much, that's very much an easy start. That's basically in the nature area, the nature realm, or as it's simply called, the sacred forest, or possibly it goes by different names. It's a sanctuary. Different types of plants and creatures alike. A landscape filled with a lot of nature. The manyest forests, jungles, you name it. It's an everlasting change of environments. But the thing is, there is a thing called a moving forest. If anybody remembers that one flying whale in Balan Wonderworld, it's basically similar to that, except way bigger.
Wait, there's a flying whale?
Yes, in Balan. It's actually in the flying stage.
Huh.
Yeah, I'm not even kidding. Maybe when I get to doing Balan, I can pretty much show you guys. But yeah. That's basically what the flying mechanism there. But I'll talk a bit. I'll get to what the moving forest basically is later. And there's bound to be a guide or two there that simply will help basically keep the visitor from going into some sort of disaster point, or help them out of some sort of situation. Now, depending on the individual, they basically will affect the environment a bit. Depends on who enters. Anyone is capable of enter, whether they be good, bad, or anything else. I'll get to a reason as to why. There are other locations, simply there's a reason for these different locations. Again, I'm trying my best to explain these. I hope it doesn't bother you guys.
Doesn't bother me one bit.
Yeah, trying to word these is not my strongest point, but I will try. Another possible spot you could possibly end up in is pretty much the Endless Seas. Basically, that is the water realm. There are beaches, there are definitely endless types of seas, whether they be clear, they be dark, they be of the abyss, you name it. And it's connected to another type of realm, which is the sky realm, which is kind of like the equivalency of a Heaven's Gate. And the water realm can actually be either pleasant or it can be dangerous, because water can be harmless or it can be destructive. You should know what that means, Jacob.
Oof.
But there is a certain type of, well, type of hot springs and lakes and such. They are simply entitled the healing springs or the healing lakes. Any injuries or any pain that's basically in there that you were stained or something, that will heal up instantly. It's like rejuvenation. It's not a fountain of youth, by the way, people. Just a heads up. But let's just say it only has one guardian, but that is all that world needs. It's big, it's powerful, and very much fearsome looking, but depends on the seas and such. It will basically treat you as any guest. Now, the deity of that world, let's just say their name is basic, and their theming is pretty much very ironic, but also kind of meaningful. Also, Jacob,
Yes.
how do you think Speedy would react if he were in that realm?
He'll probably be like, "Holy camole! Wow! Sorry.
I'm pretty sure he'd be pretty short because the Guardian there is he would definitely be taller.
And Speedy has that same voice even when he's an adult. He'll be like,
Wow.
"Holy shit!"
He sounds like a mixture of Mickey Mouse and old Crash Bandicoot.
Wait, what?
That's
I
literally
think he
what
heard
sounds-
you.
Oh, hi, Dark. I hope you're finding this interesting. Like, even more. Okay. On the opposite of what water we have the fire realm. Pretty much, it is very, very hot there. But ironically enough, it's not super hot or boiling points. Simply because the deity there makes sure to maintain it. And they are, in fact, basically what you see they are. Sorry. Now, the place pretty much, and I'm looking over the thing here just to make sure I get this right. the main landscape is it's entitled the Flaming Landscape. There's a desert, basically known as the Scorching Bed, and basically there's some tropics with the volcanoes are simply entitled Scalding Waves. As you can pretty much tell, it's a party over there.
Ooh.
If you're being dangerous, of course. Literally.
Parties sound good.
Yes. It's basically for anyone who's very much of exploring the very risky and dangerous locations. And there's a temple inside of a very large volcano that houses the very deity in there. Okay, how are these worlds thus far?
I like them. It sounds like you're putting something together really big.
Yeah, and these realms are supposed to fit with the theming of these deities and the simple as guardians. Oh, and there's basically hillsides and rocky domains, which connect to pretty much the ice area. The ice realm, well, if we're going to the more nightmarish parts, it's both a dream and a nightmare location. It's known as the Black Ice Kingdom, judging by the various mountain shapes that look like they are in the shape of a castle area. And basically the strongest blizzards to ever been casted. Want to know how cold they are?
How cold?
The point where you become an icicle yourself, and upon basically having some bad rough, yeah, even the inside of your body basically becomes pure ice.
Oh, shit.
Yes, any creature that doesn't have a resistant item on them or can't stand that amount of cold or don't seek shelter in time, it takes like a couple of minutes. Before, yeah. But there's a reason for that. Oh, and there's electrical storms in there too. Because there's a combination about snow and rain being in the same environment. Keep in mind, the ice domain just stays as it is. It doesn't really spread to anywhere else. The lower bits, I'm not too certain what the lighter half would actually be. I'm still working on that. But if I am gonna, I guess it would have to say, I guess it would have to be something frosty or something. Frosty, snowy, whichever works. Basically, that's where the more nicer bits are, like ice skating or sledding, skiing, you name it. The fun bits you have when you're in a snowy location. And also one more thing, I'm a giraffe.
Giraffe.
Don't you have an ice dragon? Jacob?
Repeat the question?
Do you have an ice dragon?
I do. Her name is Icy.
Well, I'm pretty sure any of your dragons would actually be interested in these sort of locations.
Well, Icy certainly will. I'll show you what she looks like later, and also she big.
I know. They're big built. Now, as for something like there is another location. It's mainly the all center of dreams, where the energy comes from. It's not the main point, but it's actually one of the main functions that spreads to anyone in the waking world who basically has. I think the idea would actually be interesting is a dream catcher. Dream catchers were basically meant to ward off nightmares, but spread the good dreams, which is pretty much that. And anyone's dream energy can actually manifestation into the realm, and this realm, honestly, I haven't really come up with a name for it yet. I guess something like aluminum, I guess, or something very dreamlike. I basically described in the RP that it's basically a very pleasant area, and that there's no sense of negative energy in there anywhere. It's supposed to be a calming, pleasant place where anyone's needs and desires are basically fulfilled. They're not the corrupted sides or anything corruption. It's meant to be on pleasantries. And basically that is very fulfilling. Like, they got nothing to worry about. Also, as you could probably tell, I guess I kind of took a bit of inspiration off, shall we say, in the Spyro series.
Spyro good.
Spyro's little dream sessions and such. That's what it feels like. That's how you can describe it a bit. Hmm. Hello, Joshua. There would be other locations, but let's just say from what it has been, these are definitely very large locations, and they're very much endless. And lastly, we have the main core itself. This is what connects all the realms, and most importantly, where the main head resides. It also acts as a sort of monarch, or palace ruler. Basically, it's where the main ruler is. The place is covered with certain types of crystals and different themings. The atmosphere, it's mysterious, daunting, alluring, yet also rather unsettling, as if no one knows what's in there or what could be in the area. It's more of the unknown and very ancient about it. And the various place is atop of a rather spiky, spirally looking hill, where there sits atop, well, a chapel. And also, I described it as a, I guess I could put it as it's a type of church. In ways, you're entering the house of the Lord. It is the very essence in the place where dark and light coexist. Jacob, thoughts?
I feel that there is most likely a balance between all this.
Of course, each head basically has that. And then, well, on the inside, it acts as portals to the other realms. And basically there's also this big massive room where basically the others have their, well, what's that place they call where, like, a council? Yeah, it's a council. Basically where all the heads basically gather together and they basically discuss things. You know. And no, people, there's no politicians, no nothing, none of that. Each deity is basically respected of their realms, and they don't try to outrank each other or any of that. Now that these worlds are basically established and such, as best as I could. Oh. Jacob, did you remember using Godzilla?
Well, there was actually 2 times where I shut off my Godzilla DVD collection, and also, well, had Andre over once when we saw Godzilla King of the Monsters in theaters, and
hold on,
that's about it.
Hold on, I got a shiny Godzilla. Hang on, let me get him. Keep in mind, this is just a chipified version of him, I guess.
I have that exact same plush. Just maybe a bit bigger. Godzilla will always be king of the monsters.
Yes, more than monkey.
Monkey.
Yeah, I don't get that meme. But yeah.
Somebody just asked, is that a Boshi in the background?
Oh yeah, that's Boshi. The only reason why I call him Boshi is because he's dark blue, and Boshi was already considered dark blue. Anyways, now more of the differences of knights, shall we say, or they have something in common. Well, turns out unlike in Knights, where the Idia is basically formed by the very visitors, it's the very deities themselves that actually created the Idia. Strong, powerful dream energy that actually helps these, well, visitors function. In fact, a little bit of ideal. Basically, during the very beginning, these I think it's better if I show basically what I tried, and honestly, I really hope you guys can follow of where it's coming from. Okay. Okay. You can read this if you want, Jacob.
In the beginning, there was nothing. Nothing but darkness. No creature could be seen or heard until one night, by a small miracle,
Sorry for me spelling here.
a small orb of light appeared, and it may start off small, but in time will allow it to gain the ability it will need to make this place livable. Within time comes four other lights. When all were in place, something that happened. They
I'm
began
sorry.
to take
You go.
they began to take shape, and the five deities has merged have powerful creatures beyond incapable. So I can't speak tonight apparently.
It's okay. We could possess elements beyond the incapable. Now, here's a heads up. This is mainly these five spirits, these five lights. They mainly because they fuse. That's the reason. And also, a little heads up is that I basically typed all this down, but when I basically went, the stupid thing basically did not render all them in. So you can understand how much of a pain that was. One who uses the power of water. One who controls over ice and electricity. One who maintains the power of earth. One who bears the power of fire. One controls the power of plants and nature. When all five became one, they created a world to which the lands, seas, and skies to connect. They began to understand just what their purposes were, and they allowed those to experience these lands for themselves and where their hearts lead them. Creatures created to thrive and roam, and the expansion of this realm. With dreams and nightmares coexist with balance. One must not outrank the other, nor good nor evil, a perfect harmony of the two sides. If one should disturb the other, then chaos shall spread and destroy everything. Well, what did you think?
Two thumbs up.
I see what you did there. I see what you did there, comic. Yes. As you can understand why the realm is very much important to stay balanced. I will also pretty much bring this. Yes, there are individuals who come to the dream world and they basically explore and such. But there's just one other thing that needs to be addressed. There are no specific humans at all in the realms. Jacob, care to pretty much ask on that?
No humans.
Yes.
Humans are overrated. That's all I have to say.
Well, there's another thing. There's another reason. The deities are able to look out into the waking world, and they even explore it from time to time. They see how humans act and such. Yes, they are very complex and fascinating creatures. However, should one go off the pathway and actually do something that would be so irrelevant and rather ridiculous and such, could draw it into destruction and chaos. The sense of corruption, you could say.
Ah.
And thus the deities, they make sure that doesn't happen. Hence the reason why they don't have humans stay, but they do let them explore as long as they're not basically disrespecting, well, the way of their wills. However, there have been the occasions where a few had managed to cause that problem back then. And let's just say, certain deities did not appreciate that, including the very cool and collected one.
What row?
But there is a silver lining to this. Those who had been, well, perished within certain time periods, they are brought upon into the realm and are brought back as different creatures, maintaining their memories, but they have a new purpose and new life. I am not yes, I'm not even kidding. It's actually in some of the lores. I did the best I could with that. They become guardians.
Sounds pretty cool.
Now, some were actually created by the deities themselves, but others were given a new light and new chance to, well, adapt. Called a new identity, but with a better purpose. Then there's the very few who, well, who were in very critical condition, or they don't really know what their purpose is. And thus, they give the arrangement, have them become a part of the realm itself, or they can pretty much choose to leave. And it's been a rare occasion. And the thing is, it's meant to be with dragons. That being of, well, my other series. It pretty much comes off as that. Now, as getting back to the Idia point, there are the deities that did represent the Idia, judging by their gems on their heads. It's rather what I thought would be interesting and would fit. So, yes, we'll get to the deities in a bit. Right now, we can get to the rather interesting specific ones. You know how you basically have for knights, you have the Knightopians, Sonic, you have Chows, and with Balan, you have the Little Times. Well, this specifically is a bit different. These are finickies.
Ooh.
And the thing about finickies is that their environments wherever environment they go to, they change in their appearance and their attitudes.
They look so adorable. Sorry.
That's kind of the point. They're pretty simplified, but that's the point. And the descriptions here. Dream creatures that live within the realm of dreams. These creatures develop typing within the environment they thrive in. They can be docile, shy, aggressive, curious, and even friendly, depending on the types that's encountered. And also, they can recognize an individual's face. I'm not even kidding. And also, a little bit of side note, these creatures are for my version of the whole dream realm, but it does not have knights or nightmarons, and these creatures are much more prepared than Nightopians, whom, let's be honest here, have no chance of survival unless it's by knights and visitors. Yeah, these finickies are way more adaptable.
And adorable.
You could say some could be capable of talking. Which I'm not even kidding on that. That would actually... I don't know. What do you guys think on that?
I think it would be funny if like with my Dragonsaur, like if I just picked one up saying how cute it looks.
Well, it would have to be in the environment where it's docile.
Ah.
Oh, they don't get any bigger, honestly. That's literally their size. Now, here are basically, I call the general and commander here. And not the silver fox, I promise you. And his identical freaking sister. What do you say on that, Jacob?
Hmm.
You know, that little ideal.
Looks really good and sounds really good.
Okay. Now here is Fear Drain. Or as he is doubly called, Feirdra. If you want to know, he is supposed to be the answer to Riala. He's supposed to be Riala's counterpart. Or as I like to say, imagine what would happen if Riala was put into an environment where it's a little more better and he's actually been treated to be he's treated much more with respect and way more on better rights. Now, don't take Feirdra to be kindly enough. This is more now you know by classic look and the more armored look. Was once an inconfident dragon, went through trial and errors, is now the lead general of the army. His main strength lies in his strategy and skills, abilities that tie with his power and fast thinking. Well, what do you think?
Yeah, good boy.
Yes. And Feirdra, well, again, he was pretty much inconfident and he was put on a lot of stress. He was pretty much bullied pretty much by, well, the commander in there. Now, basically it's not to a point of death, but more of, shall we say, I can't believe someone like you got to be destined to be this. But throughout the entire experience and journeys and such, he's been able to gain that. And since, well, an event that happens later on, like he actually places on the mask, which is also an actual weapon, by the way, and he becomes a rather fearless leader. And he can be just as dangerous as Riala, but can be very aggressive. And that armor is very resilient. One thing I basically
Nice.
question about with Riel is a bit is that what happens if his other exposed parts were basically aimed at? I understand that the armor he wears is literally supposed to be like magic themed and such, and super durable. And he is a nightmare, so he is pretty durable, but come on. Just a thought. And here is Hunter. The camo, this is, and the camo armor. Used to live in the waking world in a rather horrible environment where he was mistreated and abused. When he arrived within the realm, he was offered a chance to change his life around. He trained to hone his skills in the way of being one with nature, and while his endurance is weak, makes up for his swiftness, quick strikes, giving him the title the Nature Assassin. He can actually use electricity, believe it or not. So, what do you honestly think with Hunter?
He seems very familiar.
Now, here's a little something I will say about Hunter here. He's actually the equivalency of knights, believe it or not. Yes, it may seem a little odd, but here's the thing. When Hunter actually changed for the better, he still had trust issues when it comes to seeing new visitors. But because he had great beings around him, he was able to pretty much cope with it. And he has an interest for music and nature and such. And he can be pretty easy to talk with once he starts to lighten up. That is very much Knight's trope. He's not as mischievous, but you get the idea. Also, the outfit he wears, it actually changes with the environment he goes into. And depends on the trees.
If I could, I would give a hug.
I don't blame you, man. Don't worry. Hunter is definitely gotten better. Ah! Now, why don't we go with our guides? You know how basically in Journey of Dreams you have the Goodle Birds? Well, I kind of based those on these, except I gave them a little more personal inspection. Now, I just simplified these names because, for one, I couldn't really come up with anything sounding regal and such. So, yeah, you're gonna have to take my word on this. This is the main dream guide who's been around for a long time. This guy is the equivalency of Owl, except he's way bigger. As in, like, you can ride him. And he allows it.
Ooh.
Now, basically back then, these guys were just simplified designs, but I gave them far better looks now. The first of the many to become a guide for visitors. He shares plenty of knowledge while giving them a ride across the different areas. He makes sure they are safe from dangerous dream creatures. And he does have that knowledge, but unlike Owl, he pretty much just makes sure that nothing happens to him. Because when you think about it, Knights is the only thing to defend against the Nightmarans. And also, I guess Blue Chips, but that doesn't really say a whole lot. And these trio here, Key Keepers. This trio of quick loons were given special keys to open portals to different dreamlands. Redney is a stubborn and hot-headed bird who prefers to be called Randy. He also will trade with anything he asks for. Yeah, their currency is that it's based around trades, not money. If you're in a location and they ask for an item from a different realm, then you gotta pretty much make sure you have that, or possibly something like that. Violet prefers more quieter places and makes sure to keep Redney from losing his feathers. She also spends time with Bluey to make sure nothing happens. Bluey is a bright and curious bird who likes meeting new visitors. She can give offers things to visitors if they are lonely or scared. You can tell by simply of the colors and such. Look, I would have given them different names, but that's what I decided on, people. I hope it's not a bad thing. Jacob, what do you think?
I don't think that's a bad thing.
Oh yeah, the keys, they open, they're basically like small door pockets. They basically open up to different dimensions. Oh boy. Oh boy. I hope you guys aren't ready for some nightmare fuel, because these two serve under any higher up if it means they get to cause terror across dreamlands.
Spooky.
Okay. Tricky Trickster, the Cloaked Mad Clown. Or, as he also goes by, the literal moving circus. He's a walking circus. An unknown creature that was turned into a being of madness and mischief, made by the entities who needed something to bring forth the negative side of dreams. A little bit of a note there. The various entity itself, it was actually Fregetta himself who made them.
Oh.
Yeah, you can understand why. I mean, someone who's more the Nightmare King actually would make something like that. But there's reasons for it. He loves to cause pain, fear, and torment for those who end up encountering him. His main ability is to use any traps and tricks he'll pull randomly out of his sheet-like body. The blood he wears isn't real, just for decoration. Well, Jacob, what do you think?
Some pretty freaky shit.
Yeah. And the thing is, think of Tricky like Oogie Boogie. Yeah, definitely no reasoning with this thing.
Oh, I bet.
Oh, and the thing is, after torments and such, and after the killing, he'll just eat them. Yeah, you think he's gonna?
Jeez.
Yeah, you think he's gonna soil the sacred grounds and such with that? Nope, he'll just eat them. Oh, and the thing with Tricky is that, well, he actually treats those of the Dream Realm with respect, and he just has a conversation with them. Yeah, he talks like a normal individual, but when it comes to visitors and such, yeah, not a good sign. Also, I went with more Tim Burton-like-esque themes with this guy. Believe it or not, people are probably wondering, what the heck is Tricky supposed to be, and what is he based off of? Well, I didn't know for a long time either. I didn't know what to go with, but then I realized something. You know, he's like a chimera, but his main thing is a legless lizard. Have you ever seen what a legless lizard looks like? That's basically what Tricky is. What do you think?
So like a snake, but it's not actually a snake.
Yes, the ironic.
Very ironic.
Yes. Hey there, Georgie. I got your vote. Yes, exactly like that. Now, Spooky, or as his actual name of what he's called is spiritual. Okay. Now, Spooky here, he actually has an actual lore of what happened to him. Was already dead a long time ago, but was brought back by dark magic. Serves as a barrier for dark magic. Yeah, you'll understand why he's called the Bone Cage. Spooky doesn't remember much from his old life. All he can remember was being of a rare color and how he perished in a cold location. While he isn't the most intelligent compared to his partner Tricky, he makes up for his dark powers and could cause others to fall into darkness. His downside is that he could be easily, encouraged by a rush head first. That, and he has a strange interest in others banging on his bare bones with sticks. He likes being played like a xylophone, is what I'm trying to go with. I guess you could also say it's like a massage for him. And thing is, the inside of that cage, it's literally it's meant to be a box of horrors. Like, it's Pandora's box is what he is. Now, with Spooky, another thing of what he used to look like, he was basically a snow dragon. Or a snow rad. Which stands for Rooster, Rhinoceros, Alligator, Dragon. That's the acronym. I am not even kidding. Now, Spooky had severe injuries that were lethal and such, and he perished.
Oof.
So, when he was basically brought back, he's actually given a disguise to actually look like he still has his flesh on, just to look more appealing. But when the circus has to come, he will rip off the disguise and reveal his true self. Another thing, even though he looks normal and such, the way I'm describing his odor, it's like the equivalency of a decaying corpse, like something that's been dead a long time ago. How's that for a little ideal?
Really interesting.
You there, take this golden fruit, and we'll get rid of these Packerland forever. Okay, no, I don't. No. Spooky isn't that. He's not a ghost. He's actually just a skeleton. And no, he doesn't make puns. Oh, great, fireworks are going off. Now, these ones I just came up with myself. Shadows of nightmares that can be unpredictable and unexpected. The illusional spiritual creatures. What do you think?
They look freaky. And I love it.
Jacob?
Yeah?
How do you think these look?
I just said they look freaky and I love it.
Well, I came up with the idea sort of came off when I was watching Ashley H's Remembrance series, and I was like, I think I could make something use like that. And you can see where the reference comes from. Wait. The shadow-like creatures were spawned from the remaining magic essence of the boughs between the deities themselves. They possess no physical form, only mere shadows. They do act around other visitors within the dream realm. The weaker the courage, the more aggressive they can be. They can possess the dream creatures when they feel that it is time to move on. The nature of these nightmare creatures is a mystery. And as for the illusional raven, also known as the leader of the spiritual creatures, these shadow birds have the ability to take the color and abilities of their opponents and use it against them. They were created by Fregetta in order to maintain a balance within the dream realm. These birds are rather intelligent enough. So how's that little detail?
It gives a nice bit of flavor to it.
Yeah, you never thought you actually expected spirits, huh? I thought that, we're gonna need something a little more out there. Like, what would actually work? And that's where this happens. I really want to see if Chelsea could come up with something like this.
It'll be interesting to see, alright.
Yes. Now we're getting to the Guardians. A real sea monster, if you ask me. Oh yeah, by the way, are these better than Christian's work? Jacob?
Very, very much better. A lot better. Like way better by a mile. No, 1,000 miles. Way better. Way better. Anyone could design better characters than that person.
And the lore?
Still much better than
and
who's.
also the creature designs, the character designs.
Good looking and not cringy at all.
Yeah, because I drew animals for a while. Anyways. Aquarius Monstera. The Sea Guardian. Here's the thing, both he and another Guardian, their names were actually swapped. So it actually makes more sense.
Huh. Okie-dokie.
Yeah, because they're because the names here actually sound more fitting. So yeah, Aquaria. Also known as the Leviathan of the Dream Realm. This giant sea monster protects and clears things within the deep, dark depths of the Sea of Dreams. A rather solo beast that can withstand anything that's thrown at him. His abilities are based around his strength, and in the water where he's quick and agile. Where others don't know is that he can sprint on land as well when they least expect it. You know how you see like alligators and crocodiles, they sprint and such?
Yeah.
That's basically this.
Wowee wowee.
And also, want to know how tall you would expect this thing to be?
How?
It's like the equivalency of the medium-sized largest coaster.
And I bet Speedy will be surprised to meet this big fella.
That's what I mean by, yeah, he's pretty big. While he may be frightening, he can also be docile to others when he isn't in stormy seas. He'll even offer them rides across the ocean for safe travel, but could also make it fun. Keep in mind, anyone who goes under the waters, they're fine, they can breathe and such. Because, it's a dream realm. How do you think of this design and the colors?
Love it.
Yeah, I tried to make a Sea Leviathan that worked. Connecting with the...
I could just imagine Speedy hugging the big guy for no reason at all.
Hello and welcome. I'm sorry, okay? I didn't mean that. I'm sorry. But yes, welcome. I'm very glad that you're finding this interesting. The birds of the sky realm. Yeah, remember I mentioned about the sky realm could be described as a way of heaven's gate? Aquila Grigala, the Sky Guardian. This is the main guardian. Guardian of the Sky Realm. Also known as the Scholar of the Tower of Knowledge. This wise bird will offer advice and even answer questions of what he knows. While he may seem docile at first, he still maintains his duty as guardian and will fight if he has to. May appear light, but can be rather strong with the flaps of the wings, which can create powerful gusts of winds, talons that can pierce through metal, feathers that can resist fire. One thing that's not known by many is that he has the ability that helps him become even more stronger and gains fire magic. Basically the equivalency of a phoenix. So, well, what do you think?
Nice bird of the wood.
What do you honestly like about this?
Well, I like how it has that golden look to him.
That is kind of the point. Also, you saw in that comic there was a golden hand? That was him.
Ah!
He's the one writing the records of the events that happen and such. And lores. Also, the golden color and such are a reference to the main head Nightmara. Now, Chimera Argentine, the Cloud Guard. Believe it or not, the original really needed an update because it was literally just a 3-headed, 4-legged chicken. So I took inspiration from the cockatrice, so there you go. What do you think of that little info?
Pretty neat.
The 3-headed cockatrice, with each head having its own thoughts and actions. This beast guards over the guardian's turf for intruders. Sharing one body could sometimes be a double-edged sword. This beast could even petrify for a short time, but not killing them. So in the case you're frozen by a sense of fear or shock just by the glance of the eyes, but you don't turn to stone, you don't die like that. It's just out of fear.
Turning to stone is a pretty scary thing.
Yeah, but this is a cockatrice that doesn't have that ability. It just paralyzes those in fear. They are a stubborn bird, though. Even to a point where they lose focus on the target, their back end isn't guarded, making that a key weak spot. It isn't clear as to what the gender of this creature is, but not many last long to try and ask. You're curious about it, aren't you?
Yeah.
The thing is... Yes, what is it?
What is the gender of this creature?
I'll tell you. It's both. This is actually the rare occasion where it's a hermaphrodite.
Ah.
Yes. I thought, you know what? I think it'd be kind of interesting to have that. That's why they're referred to as they. Because it could have either a male voice or a female voice, the behavior, that sort of stuff. Oh, you could keep an eye on the chat if you like.
Well, well, in a little bit, I would be having to head off soon.
Okay. Yes, that is a reflect of the sun. And here is the mighty Triwolferus.
Whoa.
You know how Knights basically has to deal with a frickin' Cerberus? And how it's supposed to be described as a very horrific creature that no Nightmare should ever have to encounter? Or deal with?
Kinda, yeah.
Well, this Cerberus isn't like that. It's a little different. Were once a trio of warriors that were also brothers in their old lives. All had perished from the elements they now control. They could also split their body into three. They are the leader guardians of the lands in the dream realm. They go by the names of North, Brimstone, and Dorje. Dorje is a type of electricity, mind you, so that's why. They can split their bodies into three. And also they take a piece of the armor on them. Not even kidding on that.
Huh.
Yes. And each head basically has their own respective personality trait. They can be fearsome, but just like the dogs themselves, they're pretty loyal. Oh boy. The energetic spear and the heavy armored tank. Daggertooth. Also known as the Striking Blade. This reptilian furred beast is one of the land guardians who grazes through mountains and canyons at top speed. The spike-like blade on him can slice through boulders and even steel. While some may think he's a goat, he is actually a reptile under the fur. The reason for him to wear the leather mask, he states that it is to keep the creature that lives inside him at bay. He's a go-getter and an active guardian that isn't afraid of challenges. What do you think?
Looking sharp.
Arm mirror. You see that?
It's like a mirror turtle.
Yes. He is a turtle.
Mirror turtle.
The diamond battle tank that was once a knight that battled against the monster, where he was deemed a hero, but was one day betrayed by a comrade whom he thought was like a sibling to them. He was offered a second chance by the entities who saw potential in him. He was turned into the heavy armored turtle dragons, where the armor is covered in diamonds that reflect like a mirror. Golden scales protect him from fire. The emblem on his tail gives him the ability to generate the solar energy and becomes incredibly fast. And then he can move very fast. However, downside is that if the sundial is aimed at his shell, it will cause confusion and slight blindness. As in, he wouldn't be able to see for a little bit.
Oh crap.
Yes.
You better be careful.
So. Oh? Except the Cerberus and Journey Dreams is especially a pair of doggy spike chain balls attached to a third ball that's golden in color, and the third head, unlike the one which is A true. Yeah, a true Cerberus, yes.
Well,
Mirror
Ashley,
turtle. Well, the thing is, from what I've heard, the Cerberus in Journey and Dreams is that the golden head represents, it's literally the main head, and the other two are basically the arms.
uh, Ashley,
Sorry.
well, that just happened.
I'm sorry. That's like the. I'm okay.
It's alright. Well, Ashley, I have got to goes now.
Okay. See you around, Jacob.
Bye, all.
All right, people. You see how far you've come. You've seen the deities that. You've seen that what the deities have made and what guardians are here. Well, you're about to meet the very first, the unkillable beast. I present you the Hydrum. It's an Hydra and gem. The very first guardian of the Dream Realm, created by the entities to protect from the rifts and to give access to visitors. The Hydrum is also the loyal servant of the Goddess of Dreams. The body is crafted from diamond and dream energy, very durable and hard to cut through. If a limb or more were to be chopped, then it'll rejuvenate them back in minutes. Simply indestructible. It was not hostile from the beginning. However, in time, a horrible thing happened, and it caused the Guardian to go berserk, destroying everything it sees. If anything's caught in the mere sight, it will hunt them down until their demise. Instead of disposing of the Hydrum, the golden deity made the choice into stealing it away within another dimension, where in hopes it would no longer harm others. But for how long would it last? Only time will tell. Funny thing is that I did not expect this, but Lance has something similar to this, where something happened to him and he became, well, Lance. So yeah, that's basically what the Hydrum is. Yee. I actually have a what this thing truly does look like. It could actually create wings made from crystal and such, and is capable of flight. It creates two other heads. It doesn't have multiple heads. It has at least two. And believe me, this thing is definitely a destructive beast. Oh yeah, and the thing with Tricky and Spooky is that when they basically combine, oh boy, when corruption takes its toll on one's mind, you become something you are not. The Bookie Trickster. Yeah, this is basically what happens when Tricky and Spooky were to fuse. Becomes an abomination of one's worst nightmares. And boy, oh boy, oh boy, this monster is just simple madness and malice. Yeah, I had to get creative with this. It took me a little bit to work on, but I just hope you guys found this interesting. Now for the very deities themselves. This is the main head, Nightmare, the golden deity. Oh yeah, Nightmare is able to sprout extra limbs and a tail. And the only type of clothing that he basically has are the wristbands and well, the rings and the various cape. Okay, I'm okay. Anyways, being the original when dreams began, this entity goes by many names, but most refer to the one who brings the laws and order for those who live within the dream realm. The main body for the other four, the abilities are themed with earth, rock, fire, and soil, and also pure light. Of those who roam the platforms of their dreams, being the main head, meaning he will take responsibility the most, even doing things that even may have consequences. Yep, basically a light dragon. You know, throughout media and what I've seen and such, it seems that those of the Holy Clan or those of higher ups, the various gods or such, from what I've seen, wow, not exactly very of holiness and such, if you ask me. Especially when you look at something like Hespen Hotel and Hell of a Boss, they basically have that thing going on. So it's just like, you know, there could be a symbol of a deity that would act that's resemble to everything of the realm and creatures and such. Being the one they basically will follow, but at one's free will and extent. Does not control, but gives out the simple laws and orders. And this deity, if angered, he will show his wrath. And he's not to be taken lightly because he is something that no one should ever have to pretty much cross. And he treats his deities and others as equals and those of his subjects. That's basically the best I can come up with. I'm pretty sure if I bring others along for next stream, I may pretty much ask about that, and I hope to have their inputs, especially Chelsea. The frozen deity, the frost entity whom controls over thoughts, ice, and electricity. Frigetta, the frozen mind deity. Yeah, but without the. Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah. You actually there is a point. Okay. Um, just a moment, people. I'll be right back a bit. It won't be long, so I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I'm back, guys. Okay. See, told you that won't take long. Anyways, also, a little bit of fun note here. Nightmare was the main thing that created the Hydram and such. He's the one that banished it when it got too violent. And let's just say there are other things that he pretty much wouldn't be too proud of with himself. But all you need to know is that he is literally a deity that truly is what he is. One who is in charge, but isn't too crucial, nor is he basically bad of what he does. Now on to Vegeta. I've spent a lot of time basically building this guy up. Being the being who controls the cold and gives thoughts to those within the dream realm, Vegeta isn't as warm welcoming as his four brothers, rather prefers to keep to himself and remain solo within his realm. That's because there's a reason for it. There are far more important things that he basically is concerned about, and even if he doesn't look like it, he actually does care about his comrades and how he just wants to make sure that things are going fine. In fact, he was the one who suggested that there are those types of visitors who cause the problems and chaos and such, including him sending out Tricky and Spooky to deal with that problem, the one who created them, and the one who created, well, the illusion Ravens. He doesn't really mind company of the other deities that he basically gets along fine with, but those he can tolerate. He's not heartless. He's not as cold as others may say or may think. In fact, a bit more updated about him that I actually went into. And that even though he may seem like he doesn't care, he actually does. He cares enough that he wants the realms to remain as they are, being very much at well balanced. Yes, there are points where destruction and things will happen, but that's for the nature bits, not by one's work. And these deities pretty much have that. They control the environments. And whatever happens, they basically do so. Sorry for that little moment. But I just thought I'd let you guys know. The Black Ice Kingdom, while being a deity of cold, he does maintain a calm demeanor and gives helpful advice when those who ask for it. Many do not know what goes on within his thoughts, but he does not have any evil intentions nor wicked desires. Now the thing is, for Jeddah, throughout points, it's more he has a battle with himself, his emotions, his feelings, and those twisted desires that he has. He tries to maintain control, but over time, it sort of got the better of him where he started going after other realms, spreading his cold flow, and just how bad it's gotten to the point where Nightmare had no choice but to pretty much seal him away within a pocket dimension where he would just have to run out his energy and such and get, well, his mind back to normal. There was no reasoning with him, nor of talking to him during that state. He just lets it happen. And Nightmare wasn't too happy about what he had to do, but there was no other options. And there's a reason as to why. Vegeta had a thing for Nymeria, but he basically feared that things could be complicated and he didn't want to ruin that flow. So he He just wanted to stay as they were. But as that time grew, he had no choice. He just couldn't control himself anymore. His mind wouldn't work that way. In fact, it went blank and just his inner instincts just went out of whack. So, in a sense, that's what happened. And he truly does care about Nymeria, and Nymeria does care about him. And it's not that like Fredetta really meant for that to happen. He really didn't. It was basically during a time where dealing with humans was basically a problem. And the fact that rifts basically were happening because, well, there were some conflicts that happened. As in, like, two creatures basically colliding and such, or multiples, which cause a rift to happen. Because a dream creature, if many were to get into battles and such, and if it's basically on a pure negative approach, then those rifts will open. And the wrong kind of individuals could show up. Also, the other thing Fredetta basically prohibited is that breeding between deities should not really be a thing. Sure, he has nothing against the ideal of others basically having that, but he's basically looked into the history and such, and throughout seeing and learning, he knows just how it could actually lead to conflicts that really would cause a problem, and the imbalance would happen. So you could say he was thinking straight. Yeah, it's kind of like that. Yeah, both the Hydrum and Fredetta, they weren't in their right state of minds. They're normally not like that. But yeah, there's your impression on Fredetta. Now, for Zadi, a being of mysteries and stealth when least expects. Basically, one who flows with the wind. The Order of Balance deity. Or as, you know how I mentioned earlier in the stream, there's a such thing as a moving forest? Well, Forzati is the moving forest. When people would least expect, they could accidentally walk onto Forzati and they wouldn't realize that they're on him, because he is basically an actual forest himself. Well, not intentionally, but what I'm trying to say is that you walk on him and he wouldn't notice you until you get right to where his head could pretty much be. There is a bit of a temple on him, but that's mainly with a big shell that he has. Forzani can actually grow to be very big. In fact, he's actually taller than Nightmare himself. And that's taller than any mountain range. How big we talking here? Oh, I'd say pretty much pretty big. Very big. The fact these are deities, that basically makes sense. And okay. Hang on a moment, people. I'll be right back. I'm back. I'm back. Also, I will answer basically. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's how big you could describe him as. Anyways, Forzati. Probably the most merciful of the deities, and is tasked to keep things in a balanced state, to maintain smooth process, and to keep the chaos below. He's not a controversial individual. That's what basically what Forzati is. He is basically, well, you heard Mother Nature. Well, this is Father Nature right here. Some may fear due to the appearance of a serpent, and that mysteries surround this deity, whom carries many secrets that only higher ranks are allowed to know. Yeah, that's mainly what Forzati is. I basically went with more of a those wyvern likes. In fact, that's what Fregetta is actually. When Forzati doesn't show to be that merciful, he can be incredibly frightening. And nature's wrath is something no one should ever have to witness. Now we're on to the last few. While appear to seem dangerous, is really one who is more of helping clear the many to keep good numbers. Flara, the flame of life. Yeah, Flara was the most to go with different design wises. At first off, he started off as just like a snake. Like, like those Chinese dragon sort of paper mache things. But then sort of developed a bit where he had a little more details in him, but he still looked a little plain. So, you know what? Might as well go what he's supposed to be based off, anyways, a Chinese dragon. That's what I based him off of, and that's where you go. And no, people, he's nothing like Mushu from Milan or Dojo from Shaolin Showdown. He basically isn't a comic relief like that. He can be taken just as serious. Anywho's. One would may think of one to be a deity of destruction, but is rather one who waits to already fade and make room for new and stronger roots. While Flara is a being who does maintain a hot temperature, he does not take extreme actions on those lower than himself. He brings the light to those who had given up or has been lost in the darkness, giving them a sense of hope. The only one who he views as a rival is Oshai due to their different perspectives. Yeah, Flara is literally a symbol of hope. And he comes from the fire realm. What I mean by very, very active and such. He's as hot as can be. Well, Flara, I wouldn't say he's too long. But he's about similar height to Oshai. Just by a tad bit. Speaking of Oshai, he is pretty much the shortest of the deities. But he does pretty much inch a bit taller than, well, Aquarius. A water god that follows the rules of nature. Oshai, deity of the chaotic seas. That can be described as in a nightmarish area, where the endless seas basically does have a chaotic seas. Described as a purity form of chaos, this water deity will wash away anything in a tidal wave trench of unstoppable waters. while not evil, probably the friendliest, but actions that are caused are not. His main purpose is to balance out the good by bringing in the tides from time calls for it. He has a different mindset like the other deities. It isn't evil doings, it is how nature works. Basically describing that Oshai, well, simply put it, he basically puts it as the cleansing technique. It's the cleansing event. When population overseas, the being of the tidal waves comes from overseas. If life were to continue, there has to be the exceptions of the very few. Where this water will wash away, the scolding beast lays beneath. The depths of the ocean will come beneath. May this mighty beast go with the cleansing fees. I'm still trying to work that out, people. Basically, it's basically describing that yeah, his technique is basically going for overpopulation approach, and that's just how the nature goes. Oh, and Oshai, how this technique works in the water. Well, think of it as it's liquid lava. You know, as in water. That's imagine lava, but it's water, scalding hot. It'll melt anything. Well, it'll melt basically the livingest creatures till they are nothing. And then, but there is one side note. Anyone who gets to higher grounds or is inside, the water can't get in because it's mainly focusing on the landscape and such. So basically, those individuals are safe. They wait it out, and then when it's cleared, all is fine. That's mainly the reason for Oshai. It's terrifying, but it is basically what he is. Also, fun note, Oshai back then was called Chaos. You can understand where that thing comes from. Oh, yeah, okay. Jacob left. It's pretty late for him, so that's why. And now we have the last bits. The Mother of Dreams, with just as much power as the other 5. Night Maria. Don't worry, I actually did change the name a little bit, so it sounds a little bit better. Also known as the Mother of the Dream Realm. Night Maria takes her responsibility as serious. Again, I'm sorry for the misspellings and such, as the other deities, due to her warm presence and nurturing nature. The residents admire her, but her wrath is just as important to take serious. If that were to happen, even the fearsome Hydrum would stand down. Oh yeah, thing is, a little side note. Nymera made the Hydrum not just by being the first guardian, but to also be a rather companion and basically loyal subject to Nightmaria. Even in that state of berserk mode, she is the only one that it will basically listen to, mainly because of how it was presented and how she cares. She was able to pretty much care for it, and why the Hydrum basically behaves it is. Just behaves as it is. Her powers are said to hold the most pleasant and peaceful feelings that is strong enough to settle even a demonic beast. However, if anything were to disturb that, then unthinkable things could happen. I did have Nymeria look a little different, per se, and I'm glad that I updated her for the better. And this is her. I basically base this around the Dusk formation. I'm not even kidding. The Queen of Dark Dreams. While not evil, her ways of dealing with problems are rather wicked and cruel. This is the equivalency of Nightmare Moon, people. Dusk Nightmaria, Nightmare Goddess. When sensing negative energy, Nymeria will absorb and turn into the Dark Goddess that many fear. When her beloved dreams and subjects are in threatening dangers, she will not hesitate to fight. The first time this happened was during a dangerous battle between the ice and fire deities, where she could not stand by to have it continue or see others get hurt. Her power is matched up with the main head Nightmare. Yeah, that is mainly the best description I could give her. And honestly, it just works. She is definitely the definition of that. Oh, and those who basically serve under her, she treats them like how Nymeria would. However, if anyone dares to basically threaten or dare go against her or anything, she is not going to be that merciful. In fact, she'll just straight up kill them. Yeah, that's mainly that. Now, the parallels of that and Knights is that there's only one dream god. Well, okay, it's a nightmare god, that being Wiseman. So I figure as though, what if there are other deities involving in this realm? So I worked on that, and this is what basically led us. I hope you guys found this interesting because, well, there's definitely going to be more. Not sure when, but there will be. I know I had the story idea I had for a while, but I just couldn't get it just right. So as time went on, I actually will make it better. And I promise you guys, it'll definitely be interesting. This is basically the Wandaria trilogy. One basically is getting introduced to the realm and such. The second is basically with the realm of Knights. Well, Knights into Dreams, the series at least. And lastly is basically Rise of the Nightmare Dragons. Nightmare and Dream Dragons. They are just basically that. Though, honestly, I think that one's going to be like a part, per se. But you get the idea. Now, I hope you all found this interesting. And I want to know, like, what did you mainly like about it? What was your... Oh, thank you. I do want to know, what did you like mainly about this anyways, guys? I'd really like to know. Also, I will basically put this in there, so in case you guys want to pretty much check it out, feel free to. Oh, I might as well basically show you guys a little bit of something else. Something out of, I guess you could say these could be bonuses, I guess. Because, why not? I'm only going to show these bits, so, yeah. Here we have what Spooky was. He was in a cold area. He was in a cold environment, and he basically perished after some severe wounds. So cold, so weak, so tired. I see only black. The pain has finally stopped. Yeah. I had to get creative with what I was doing, and I'm glad they came out that way. As you can see, this is what I mean by the Roman circus. And this is what spooky looks like as spiritual and with the flesh on. And it works. The cooling rock form is what Flera becomes when he's not lit up, and he's more on a more, shall we say, berserk mode. Yeah, and I will have to admit this was actually pretty intimidating to make. Ugh. But it works. And lastly, we have Hero Forge look. We have Nightmare. I figured that the cape actually works. And honestly, I'm just glad this turned out pretty well. Also, side note, people, if you're planning on starting with these sort of colors and such, make sure to remove everything on your creature. And that way you can pretty much put on the colors of your colors then, and then add your stuff later, and save the clothing for last. That's what I do. A high-rank emperor with incredible spells, leading a kingdom that's well respected, as well as the holders of ancient magic. For Jeddah. Yeah, I figured so a mage would act, or a sorcerer would actually make very much sense, and I really like the lightning and ice combination here. The cool and collected master of wisdom, as well as commander of the Frozen Kingdom. Well, pretty much more of knowledge, and it's actually Zadi who has wisdom, but hey, I guess it's kind of the same. Flera. Yeah, I figured this would be interesting. I actually gave him a monk outfit since it actually doesn't cover too much of the arms. King of the volcanic region, whose main goals are to inspire others and to bring morals up, including hosting festivals and fairs. Pretty heated, if you ask me. For Zadi. I had a little trouble with this guy. First off, he's really tall. And second, well, I had to make sure something that looked natural. So I basically gave him these sort of colors and it worked. Also, I figured as though he'd be more the equivalency of, shall we say, a bard. So this is basically what I came up with. The wise sage who maintains the balance of life within the kingdom and is leader of the sacred forest that is said to be protected by a mysterious magic shield. I'm glad this came out. And yes, he has green lipstick on. I just thought it'd be interesting. And Oshai. I figured as though I give him like the Viking / dwarf beard and such, because that's literally what he looks like. He does have that going on, and that's what I came up with. Like I said, he is the shortest of the group. General of the mighty waters and cleanser of the many. A druid that isn't afraid to pick fights whenever they are a huge disagreement. Yeah, huge disagreement, people. I could have given a better pose, but I just saved it for then. I did give a little bit of an ancient clam and treasure. Knight Maria. I try to make this look good. I try to make this work, especially with the hair. because you cannot get rid of that very luscious, lightish pink hair, and not the very shall I say bland pink. It was too girly, if you ask me. So this type of pink actually works. It doesn't look that girly, and it's a very brightly but not too bright appeasing. Also, she has dream magic in her hands, just in case. The Empress of Dream Magic. She's on point with her colleagues of what it means to run a nation. She may appear to be a woman on which many men would want to be with, but her main focus is maintaining the flow of dreams and nightmares. Exactly. That's mainly what I did. And I'm glad this worked. And in here is Dusk Nightmaria. Honestly, I thought she turned out really well. Yeah, I think she turned out really well here, and it works. Especially with the crystals, because that's mainly what she's mainly theming of. A mysterious magic caster who controls shadow magic and can manipulate easy-minded beings, but is incredibly dangerous and deadly if anyone dares to try and oppose her. Yeah, that's what I was doing. Oh. So characters, thank you. You really like him in a normal form. That's fine. Oh, that's okay. That's okay. I know, right? I did my best to make it work. Now, oh boy, I was just listening to music and just like, I want to know how I could draw these guys. And honestly, this works. This surprisingly works, and I'm happy this turned out as expected. Oh, and for Zadi, this turned out so great. I will have to admit. It just works so well. Also, he has a Veniki in case anybody wants to know. And this is what Forzati looks like when he lost it. Incredibly dangerous, incredibly powerful, fearsome. No one should be able to have to put up with that, or at least witness it. Well, everyone, I sure hope you all found this interesting. And honestly, this turned out pretty well. I hope you all enjoyed this. And pretty much later on, I may talk about a different project and such, but for now, I'm taking a bit of a break. Hope y'all enjoyed this. See you all later, and good night or good day to y'all. See you.